For decades, scientists looked at the swordfish and thought they understood it. Big, fast fish with a pointy face. Stabs things quickly. Turns out, almost none of that was right. The sword is not a spear. The swordfish does not stab its prey, and that organ behind its eyes that researchers could not explain for years, it is a biological furnace that heats the fish's brain 15 degrees above the surrounding ocean. The swordfish re-engineered its own skull to stay sharp in water, cold enough to shut down every other fish around it. Every morning before dawn, the swordfish starts sinking, not drifting, actively swimming downward, away from the warm surface waters where it spent the night into the mesopelagic zone. By the time the sun rises, it has dropped to somewhere around 500 meters below the surface. The water at that depth sits near 4 degrees Celsius. It is dark, near freezing and crushing, and the swordfish hunts there on purpose. This daily commute is called diel vertical migration. The swordfish follows squid and small fish as they descend with the dawn, chasing prey into a zone where cold water turns other large predators sluggish and nearly blind. According to research published by the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, the swordfish can spend the entire day down in the mesopelagic, only returning to the surface after sunset. That is a round trip of roughly 1,000 meters, repeated every single day. Even the moon affects how deep it goes. During a full moon, when more light penetrates the surface, the swordfish pushes deeper at night to stay in the dark, where it holds the advantage. The problem with this lifestyle is obvious. Cold water slows everything down. Muscles stiffen, nerves fire more slowly, and eyes lose sensitivity in a brutal way because the chemical reactions in the retina that detect photons depend on temperature. A cold eye in deep water is like trying to read a book through frosted glass. Every other large predator down there is dealing with the same handicap. Tuna, sharks, even other billfish lose visual acuity the colder the water gets. The swordfish solved this with a piece of anatomy that continued for over a century. Sitting just behind each eye, tucked against the base of the brain, is a mass of tissue derived from a modified eye muscle. It does not move the eye. It does not do anything structural. Instead, it generates heat. This is the heater organ, and according to research published in the journal Science, it can raise the temperature of the swordfish's brain and eyes by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius above the surrounding water. The cells inside the heater organ are unlike almost anything else in the animal kingdom. They are packed with mitochondria at densities between 55 and 70% of the total cell volume, which is extraordinary. Normal muscle cells use mitochondria to produce energy for contraction. These cells skip the contraction part entirely. They burned away the contractile machinery and repurposed the whole cell as a heat generator. They take in fuel and dump the output as pure thermal energy. The heater organ runs like a biological space heater powered by fish metabolism. To keep that warmth from bleeding away into the ocean, the swordfish has a countercurrent heat exchanger built into the blood supply around its brain. Warm blood leaving the heater organ flows past cold blood coming in from the gills, transferring heat inward instead of losing it to the water. The two blood streams run in opposite directions through tightly bundled vessels, and the thermal transfer between them is remarkably efficient. While the squid and lanternfish around it are slowing down in the cold, the swordfish's eyes are running at full speed, its brain processing visual data as if it were still in the sunlit shallows. This advantage is enormous. At 500 meters, light levels are vanishingly low. A warm eye with fast photoreceptors can detect the faint bioluminescent flashes of prey that a cold-eyed predator would miss entirely. According to researchers at the University of Western Australia, warm eyes provide swordfishes with temporal resolution roughly 10 times faster than they would have at ambient deep-water temperatures. The swordfish is not just surviving down there. It is the sharpest hunter in the building. If you are finding this interesting, subscribing means you will catch the next one. We cover strange biology like this every week. So how does the swordfish catch what it sees? For a long time, the assumption was straightforward. The swordfish has a sword, so it must stab things. Spear the fish, eat the fish. Simple. But stomach content analyses kept turning up prey with slash wounds, not puncture wounds. The prey fish were cut open, not skewered. The bill itself is flat, not round in cross-section, which makes it a poor spear but an effective blade. According to research published through the Marine Sanctuary Foundation, the swordfish uses its bill as a slashing weapon. It silhouettes into a school of fish and whips its head side to side, using the flat of the blade to stun and wound as many targets as possible. Then it circles back and picks off the injured stragglers. The sword is not a spear, it is a broadsword. And the engineering goes even deeper than the shape. In 2016, a team led by researcher John Vittler published a study in the Journal of Experimental Biology that revealed something nobody expected. At the base of the swordfish's bill, right where the rostrum meets the skull, there is a gland that produces oil. This oil travels through a network of tiny capillaries and exits through pores in the skin, covering the sword itself. The swordfish coats its own face in a self-produced lubricant. According to Vittler's study, the oil is a cocktail of fatty acids that creates a water-repelling layer across the surface of the bill. The researchers believe this hydrophobic coating reduces drag as the swordfish moves through the water, letting it cut through the ocean with less resistance. The discovery came from CT scans that also revealed a structurally weak zone near the base of the rostrum, right where the oil gland sits. That weak spot had puzzled anatomists for years. Turns out it was making room for a lubrication system. Think about what this fish has assembled. A brain furnace to stay sharp in freezing water. A countercurrent heat exchanger to trap 10 times faster than they should at depth. A sword that slashes instead of stabs. And a self-lubricating skull that reduces drag at speed. None of these features were obvious from the outside. For over a century, the swordfish was filed away as big, fast, pointy. Every closer look revealed a more sophisticated animal underneath. The heater organ alone is larger than the swordfish's heart. That fact says something about priorities. This fish invested more biological real estate in keeping its brain warm than in pumping blood. Evolution does not make that trade unless the payoff is survival level significant. And in the deep mesopelagic, where the cold shuts down every competitor, the payoff is total hunting dominance. The swordfish does not fight the deep ocean. It just packed a furnace and brought warm eyes to a cold, dark fight. If stories like this one land with you, there are more on the channel.